Hello YouTube, it's Chris here. I have a really cool review for you today. This is the Schrade Keychain Pry tool, otherwise known as the SCTPT. This little thing is pretty cool. Schrade sent this to me a little while ago, and I'm just now getting around to it with all the other reviews and the huge giveaway I just had. But I wanted to do a really good review on this because I believe that this is a really handy tool that'll be perfect to add to someone's EDC. One of the few benefits that I really enjoy about the Keychain Pry tool by Schrade is it's very similar in size to a normal household key. So it's not going to take up a lot of space when you add it to your keychain, and normally how I've been carrying it for the past about month or so is on my EDC keychain. It's usually attached to the ring right here, but today it's not because I'm going to be using it more often. And yes, my EDC keychain, I will be doing a full review on that soon. In this little compact package, it has a variety of uses, and I'm going to do my best to show as many of them off as I can today. One thing I won't be able to do is the Hex Wrench. I don't really have anything in my apartment to mess with that arena, but maybe at a later date I can do so. It is made out of one solid piece of stone-washed, finished titanium, which makes it very, very lightweight, but very, very strong and durable. Two of the most popular features that are directly visible on either side of this pry tool is the strap cutter and the bottle opener, which I feel personally most people would be using the most often. But on the flip side, there is a flathead screwdriver. These are the Hex Wrench options, the Lanyard hole for either you can put it on a keychain, in your EDC bag, or even wear it as a necklace. I have seen that done before. Here's the scraper and pry tool, and I will be using the flathead, bottle opener, strap cutter, pry tool, and if I can, the scraper, just to give you guys a really good look at what this thing can do. One of the big downsides to these pry tools that you see CRKT, Schrade, and other manufacturers making, the one problem I have with them is their price. Retailing as high as $60-something I have seen. This one retails, the MSRP on this one is $40. On Amazon, I have found it, as of today, as low as $27. Despite its lightweight, multiple variety of uses, and pure functionality of it, I think it's a little overpriced for essentially what it is. It's basically a keychain ornament that is very useful, but I think it would appeal more if it's cheaper. I mean, you can get things that are less expensive that I could probably find to be as useful, if not just as. However, for what I'll be showing what you can do with it today, it may well justify the price. I think the retail price is a little too high, but the Amazon price for $27 is much more reasonable. So, without wasting any time, let's get started on the testing. One of the biggest appeals and draws for this, for me personally, was the strap cutter. So if I was ever in a vehicle, and God forbid I was ever in an accident, I can use it to cut a seatbelt. It does cut paracord. I think it would be better suited to cut a seatbelt or a web belt of anything of that nature. However, I'm not going to go into my car and cut my seatbelt. So sorry about that, but it does cut paracord fairly well. You have to tug on it pretty hard because it's not exactly designed for that. It's titanium and it is sharp. And it will cut, but it will take a little bit of effort. Now, in an EDC situation, the Schrade SCH-601 tie is one of my EDC blades. If I happen to be using it in a slightly harder scenario and I find it to start having some blade play while I'm using it and I want to tighten this up, I can simply just take this and wrench it down and make it a little bit tighter or looser to make it easier to deploy, or tighten it up to make it stiffer when I'm using it in a more rigorous environment. Another thing you could use this for if you really needed to in a pinch and you don't have, let's say, a letter opener or a knife, and you have a bunch of mail, but you got your keys. You could use that instead of ripping it all open. It's another option. Another good use for the keychain pry tool, opens Coke. And no, I'm not endorsing Coke, it was just cheaper than anything else. Alright, the next test I'm going to do for you is I'm going to be using the pry tool, removing a drywall screw and a single nail out from this relatively hard piece of wood. So, let's see if the pry tool has what it takes. It might if it was bigger, but this is a little too small to work really well to remove a nail or something of that nature. And I don't have enough fulcrum or leverage to really wrench this thing down. Yeah, it's not going to work anytime relatively soon. To make that be much more effective and realistic, I need something like a hammer to wrench down on this. And also with this screw. So, as good of an idea as the pry tool is, I think for prying up even small nails, I mean, this isn't even really a big nail, it's a 1-inch nail. It doesn't have enough leverage, and you don't get enough of a pivot here either way to really wrench down and do that. You need something more suited, angled, and curved, like a hammerhead. It is a great idea though. I think it could be improved maybe with a longer, maybe extending it a little longer. I know they want to keep it on the keychain, so even if they extended it out like a 1/4 inch, it might be better suited for that task. And just to prove that I'm not being crazy with the nail pry tool, is I'm going to be using this nail to be trying to pull up on it. That's kind of loose on my deck. But like I said, there's not enough an angle. I'm just digging into the deck and creating a hole. So as good of an idea as this is, it's not really practical. Alright, I know I said I couldn't use the hex tool portion of the keychain pry tool by Schrade, but I actually found a... So basically, I need to wrench this thing down. It works. And it doesn't matter what size it is, as long as it's within the 1/4 inch to 7/16, it'll technically work. So, as a hex wrench, works pretty well. Alright, so I found another hex wrench that I can use for the pry tool, because I really wanted to be thorough for you guys. And as you can see, it doesn't matter where it kind of falls into place as long as it does. And you turn it until you can lock it down. And bam! It's good to go. So, what are my thoughts on the Schrade Keychain Pry tool? Is it worth $40? I want to say no. I think that price is still just a little too high, despite the fact that I could completely test this today, and it did pretty darn well except for the one area of the nail pry. I think it would be better suited in the $20 to $25 retail price. And since it is a few years old, because I have found videos that are a couple years old on this, somewhere on Amazon it being priced, because usually it's always cheaper than retail, and on Amazon, somewhere in the $15 to $20 price range. I don't think it's worth less than that because it works pretty well. I found it to be pretty nifty in a pinch. So, overall, it's pretty solid. Not perfect, and as we all know as gear reviewers and the people who watch our stuff, nothing ever is. If they wanted to, they could make this just a little bit longer. I like the width. Just make this a little bit longer, and maybe that would provide more of a prying capability, a better fork to allow to be better suited for a pry tool, and maybe that would fix the issue. And then it would be possibly able to reconsider what I feel personally is the overall value of this thing. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Schrade Keychain Pry tool with the great and the fair outcome for what this thing is capable of. That's it for now. Hope you guys have a good one. I'm out.